बस ऐसे ही है मूवमेंट करवा के ला दिया ना मैं जब बोलूं तो बर्तन में खिला रही I like it like children have it पाउडर बेवकूफ है का तो इतने दिनों से ढूंढ रही हूँ तो आती भी है क्लास बताती भी है कब नहीं आने कब आ रहे को पता भी नहीं है मैं कितना सीखो है लाइफ में तो पहले ट्यूशन में तेरे को सारा ड्रामा लेती हूँ मजा एक तो नहीं इसको ले जाना जितना हर्ष को ले जाना कौन देखा शंकर प्रसिद्ध में जाना हमारा क्या दोस्त है साथ में रहता है कौन सा है दोनों में से आगे वाला recent recent है इतना भी like solid वाला नहीं देखो नहीं टेस्ट नहीं इससे अच्छा कर सकते ज्यादा सुंदर है इसका चपड़ी है टेस्ट में उससे बहुत ज्यादा सुंदर है आईफोन इसके पास हां देख ये है ना प्रॉपर चपड़ी है बच्चा प्रॉपर चपड़ी है हर दिन कुछ ना कुछ खरीदते रहेगा नहीं बैठ अच्छा उससे अच्छा कर सकती है पता है ना तुझे थोड़ा सा ना मैसेज करते रहना सीरियस अच्छा अरे बहुत ये बहुत ठंडा हो गया ऐसा है ओपन है मैंने जब बस जो वीडियो आया टी-शर्ट जुड़ियो नहीं ये जुड़ियो का नहीं है जुड़ियो वो अच्छा नहीं लगता नो मैं हर एक चीज वेबसाइट से मेरा जीने का इच्छा वेबसाइट से Scrunchy hey maybe no bro I don't believe that shit cap it is one cap I'm getting the truth why would I lie so cool bro कहाँ से लिया मैंने बताया मेरे को तो बोल मेरी माँ लाती है chapter 17 no chapter 17 महंगा है बहुत महंगा I buy my but ads में 17 से लेते हैं खाली because ये quality होना चाहिए you want to wear it over and then इससे quality होना चाहिए तो तेरी जीन्स कहाँ से लेती है मैं तेरे को खा जाऊंगी भाई मुंबई कितना बड़ा है कहाँ जाऊँ नहीं वो ये ना कौन सा स्ट्रीट है वो क्रॉफर्ड मार्केट नहीं क्रॉफर्ड मार्केट में तो ये मिलता ही नहीं है नहीं क्रॉफर्ड में नहीं कोई नहीं उधर सिटी का कुर्ते बहुत अच्छे मिलते हैं लेकिन Madam called you, no? No, not her. She got yelled at. No, you were absent for a long time. This is her. That's her. She is the one who is absent. Yeah, she does not show up. Oh, that पढ़ी तुझे? हाँ, मेरे सामने पढ़ी. मैं बताऊँ? क्या बोला? अच्छा क्या पढ़ा? बोला क्या? देखो. Okay. Continue. We just need to switch on that tab. Which one? The other one. You just come. Very easy. Okay, कोई नहीं है. सच्ची मैं बोल रही तो अंदर बैठ जा. गोदी में बैठ जा नहीं मार. I was जब खत्म हो जाएगा. Still not yet. Hey, Like this does not make symbol. Now that is that is not kids. You just search for that line standard.
Magnet rates which
You have to. You wanna read Six of Crows?
मैंने पढ़ लिया.
Bro, don't give spoilers, but
Six of Crows.
You gave me the spoiler. One of us is
मैंने.
but book है वो. हाँ. भी है और series है ये. बस है ना. हाँ 3 एपिसोड ही देखा था. मत बोल कुछ भी. जर्मन कॉन्ट्रैक्ट सब बोल. किसको बार बस जाना.
विग्राज
पहले जर्मन कॉन्ट्रैक्ट.
कहीं नहीं बोल.
भी बहुत नहीं पता 3 एपिसोड.
हाँ ये पढ़ा है.
मुझे दोनों पसंद है.
बड़ा great
पर कॉन्ट्रैक्ट बहुत बनता है.
हाँ ये पढ़ा है.
कुछ बोल रहा है.
भी आता है.
सबसे बेस्ट बोलो क्या है. नहीं एक्चुअली जो जर्मन ओके. तूने देखो वन ऑफ द ओके सस्पेंस झूठ का मेरे को पता है. सर्च
But your problem was that I had convinced you. I had convinced you. I had convinced you.
फर्स्ट मूवी देखा.
There's this. It's a fictional thing. They have got magical powers. Bunch of them have magicals.
Six of Crows.
Six of Crows only. This guy, what's his name? Jasper has magical powers.
Yeah,
Yes.
Jasper is so.
Have you read the whole thing?
I have heard the whole entire audiobook. Like I don't usually
then you're lost cause.
Six of Crows का 6 books?
No.
It is 6.
You know what?
Oh my god.
Go home. Open Netflix. Watch Shadow.
Shadow and Bones का but book है ना.
But first no. There are like you watch the this thing, whatever that show. Then I'll explain you how that kind of works. Like there is all the books are interconnected, but characters are different. Like Shadow is one of the trilogy, but then Six of Crows and Scars biological books, but they are interconnected.
Oh, ये हाथ कितने छोटे हैं. This all सब different.
It's always type of forest, not forest product.
That one. दिखा ना. About 10 9 10%.
You say right.
है. एक है. देखिए.
जरूरत नहीं है. There is no word for it.
We understood, ma'am.
Okay. Come back. The camera's swaying. It's very annoying. Can it stop?
ये वो चैलेंज कर रहे हैं. हाँ. नहीं करके
I
दिखा.
want to sway like the camera.
It's dot करें. हाँ. So people used to get underline these points also. Roots, leaves, fruits, and tubers for many things. Fruits and tubers are nutritious to eat, especially during the monsoons before the harvest has come in. Okay, underline these points. These are the uses of forest.
I have made notes on this chapter.
Herbs.
Short notes.
Herbs are used for medicine, good for agricultural implements like yokes and plows. Bamboo makes excellent fences and is also used to make baskets and umbrellas. A dried, scooped out gourd can be used as a portable water bottle. Okay. Almost everything is available in the forest. Leaves can be stitched together to make a disposable plates and cups. The CRP
normally can also be used.
the CRP, this names you have to remember.
What is here?
CRP is okay. The creeper can be used to make ropes. See, from the long big tree, then this creeper is coming down, so that creeper can be used for making ropes. Then, thorny bark of Seymour. So, what is the other one? Seymour. Seymour tree is used to grate vegetables. Okay. Then,
Great vegetables?
that is the bark is having thorns.
Great. अच्छा तो वो हमारे को ट्री कैसे ग्रेट करेगा?
Bark is having thorns that can be used for grating. Oil for cooking and to light lamps can be pressed out from the fruit of mahua. So from where that oil was extracted? Mahua. The Forest Act meant a severe hardship for the villagers across the country. After the act, all their everyday practices, cutting wood for their houses, grazing their cattle, collecting fruits and roots, hunting and fishing become illegal. So it's coming like that why they have protested. Because their everyday life was affected, what they were doing with the forest. All those things become illegal according to the Forest Act. Next, people were now forced to steal wood from the forest. Now when they were stealing...
They would take wood from the...
No, they were not...
protected and village forest.
No forest, that is only that village forest they were allowed to live. There only they could graze their cattle.
But it's written for house building and fuel they could use wood from protected and village forest.
See, only those who are having permission. So they used to, for that purpose also they have to make the friendship with that guards and all. Then only they will get entry. And afterwards, whatever they get from the forest, a part of that to be given to them. So it becomes very difficult for them. See, if they were caught, they were at the mercy of the forest guards who would take bribes from them. Women who collected fuel wood were especially worried. It was also common for police constables and forest guards to harass the people by demanding free food from them. First of all, their life was in miserable condition. Now, person, they have to give free food and other things to this police as well as the forest guards. So this way, the life of the villagers were affected. Now, forest rule affect the cultivation. See, earlier they used to do a type of cultivation called shifting agriculture.
Yeah.
Okay.
Where they would plant something in one place and then clear it out and go somewhere else.
Slash and burn.
Yes. So it is having so many names. Locally,
cultivation.
yeah.
Yeah.
So locally it is called by different names. People they call it. So what does it mean? So the earlier
They would
times.
burn the tree to clear space and then use it and grow agriculture.
Last year we had it.
Yeah, we had it in our syllabus,
Yes,
like
yeah.
entire explanation to it.
Okay. So what they used to they
Substantial farming.
so this people they did not clear that or they did not till the land. If they till only that soil become loose.
Yeah.
So initially, okay, because of burning of the leaves and all, that soil is fertile. After 2 years, then it is of no use. So they move from that land to another land. Again, they do the same thing over there. So like that, they move from place to place. They shift to the place. That is why it came to be known as shifting cultivation. Now, for such cultivation, large patches are required. If it is not there, then they have to settle in one place. So, this British made a restriction. According to that Forest Act, they were not allowed to move from place to place. So that affected the life of the people. Okay, so that depend you just your text volume it is there now. From you start already.
Read.
One of the major impacts of European colonialism was on the practice of shifting cultivation or Sweden agriculture.
So what is the other name? Sweden.
This is
Why
a
is it
tradition.
called Sweden?
Because it's used in Sweden for country or
No.
they
See, what is that meaning of swide? Swide. It is not hidden.
it is used in this aspect.
No.
I'm confused now. I started off confusion, now I went
Sweden
up.
is a too small and a too cold country to
Yeah,
have
to practice.
practice this. If it were exist in something which
And
we
that's
call
Brazilian
or
or
Sweden.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sweden and
Sweden. That is what shifting agriculture का दूसरा नाम है.
that's Sweden agriculture.
Ah.
Sweden is
Oh.
Sweden. SWIDD.
SWE na?
SWIDD.
Sweden में WE आता है.
EN. Yeah. And this is I. But then why? What does it mean?
Shifting only. Shifting only.
I assumed it was the country name, that's why I asked the
No,
question.
no. Sweden is the country.
Yeah, this is Sweden.
And I don't think Sweden can practice.
Yeah, because there is no land to do that.
Something like in Africa or something.
No, Sweden is Europe.
Yeah, no, she's saying shifting agriculture can be practiced on larger land masses.
Even
the
Asia and
forest,
Africa.
Okay.
This is a traditional agriculture practice in many parts of Asia, Africa, and South America. It has many local names such as Landing in Southeast Asia, Milpa in Central America, Sinthmene or Dagi in Africa, and Chena in Sri Lanka. In India, Dhya, Penda, Beaver, Neva, Jhoom, Pudu, Khandar, and Kungai are some of the local terms for Sweden agriculture.
See, at least there is some countries, what are the local names you have to learn. The other names, it is coming in your next year geography book. Agriculture lesson is there, so many names are there. So that is 1 mark you can expect.
In shifting cultivation, parts of forests are cut and burned in rotation. Seeds are sown in the ashes after the first monsoon rains and the crop harvested by October, November. Such plots are cultivated for a couple of years and then left for fallow for 12 to 18 years for the forest to grow back. A mixture of crops is grown on these plots. In central India and Africa, it could be millets. In Brazil, manioc, and in other parts of Latin America, maize and beans. European foresters have regarded this practice as harmful for forests. They felt that land which was used for cultivation in every few years could not grow trees for railway timber. When a forest was burnt, there was added danger of flames spreading and burning valuable timber. Shifting cultivation also made it harder for the government to calculate taxes.
See, what are the problems related to shifting cultivation? 5 points are there. One is that, yeah,
I'm pretty sure they just made it up to ask people to not do that so that they can grow more like designated scientific forests there. Probably. I don't even think any of this is true.
Shifting agriculture is not. There is one valid point that changed the other point.
see,
Could burn down the whole forest.
But people have been practicing it for ages.
see,
Never happened.
you imagine the people who were wandering from place to place in search of that food for their cattle. In India at present also, some parts this type of cultivation is done. What they used to do, we know that North India, extreme cold climate part. So what the people are doing, there are certain communities are there, that is next to us and also that communities it is done. So Bakarwals and all. So they used to climb up the mountain with their cattle. So before going, they used to sow the seed, and then after 6 months only they come back. By the time the crops are ready to harvest. So now their lifestyle is like that.
Yeah, called something I forgot.
Nomads.
Banjara.
There's no some
There is
bird
some-
that they
there is
go
some
up in
bird.
winter then come down.
Then come down in summer. There is some bird we had it last year.
Not nomadic.
Not too many. There is some bird.
No, different communities
No,
are
there is
called
a scientific
something.
bird. We
It was
had it
not
last year.
extra.
I don't remember it right now. Very next class.
Movers are people who move stuff from place to place.
Therefore, the government decided to ban shifting cultivation. As a result, many communities were forcibly displaced from their homes in the forest. Some had to change occupations, while some resisted through large and small rebellions. This round.
So you got clear?
Forest, what they call it,
Okay.
revolution.
Next part.
Who could hunt? The new forest laws changed the lives of forest dwellers in yet another way. Before the forest laws, many people who lived in or near forests had survived by hunting deer, partridges, and a variety of small animals. This customary practice was prohibited by the forest law. Those who were caught hunting were now punished for poaching. While the forest laws deprived people of their customary rights to hunt, hunting of big game became a sport. In India, hunting of tigers and other animals had been part of the culture of the court and nobility for centuries. Many Mughal paintings show how princes and emperors enjoying a hunt. But under colonial rule, the scale of hunting increased to such an extent that various species became almost extinct. The British saw large animals as signs of wild, primitive, and savage society. They believed that by killing dangerous animals, the British would civilize India.
So that
Love that.
see earlier they used to do this hunting, but the British stopped this hunting practice. But the British themselves do it.
They did not want others to enjoy what they enjoy.
That it is made as a sports.
They
So,
were idiots. I hate the
so
British
that is
part.
what later on we can find that see how much number of these animals reduced. It is given. I think that is not much important.
But then a lot of variety of animals in India went extinct due to that, or like are on the verge of extinction now because they did that. Look at the national animal of India. They basically ruined entire populations of animals.
See, at least it is revived now. Earlier it was just around 3,000 it came.
Yeah.
Now
There is
because
like 12,000.
so number that is tiger reserves are made. That is Safe Tiger Project.
My mom stays in the tiger reserve.
Where is
In
Uttar Pradesh.
you're from UP?
not exactly though, but my dad's from Uttarakhand.
You is
Yeah.
better. No, you were a
Uttar
part of us.
Pradesh and Uttarakhand.
Yeah, they were a part of each other. You were a part of UP, come on. No, yeah, so I got listened to that. 2004 तक तुम हमारे पास ही थे.
They gave rewards for killing of tigers, wolves, and other large animals on the grounds that they posed a threat to cultivators. Over 80,000 tigers, 150,000 leopards, and 200,000 wolves were killed for reward in the period. 200,000 wolves were killed for reward in the period of 1875 to 1925. Gradually, the tiger came to be seen as a sporting trophy. The Maharaja of Sarguja alone shot 1,157 tigers
My
and
boy was
2,000
determined.
leopards up to 1957. A British administrator, George Yule, killed 400 tigers. Initially, certain areas of forest were reserved for hunting. Only much later did environmentalists and conservators began to argue that all these species of animals needed to be protected and not killed.
Okay.
400 tigers, they didn't feel guilty.
1,000
See,
Serial
it is
killers
not
below.
a seven.
Tigers.
It is not their thing, their what is that resource, no? If it is not belong to them, then what feeling they are
But
getting?
then it's still living with
Serial killers. For example, they kill actual humans, not animals.
Okay, now new traits.
Can I read that? She can read after me. I don't know why I
Okay,
don't
first.
New trade created new employments and new services. While people lost out in many ways after the forest department took control over the forests, some people benefited from the new opportunities that had opened up in trade. Many communities left their traditional occupations and started trading in forest products. This happened not only in India but across the world. For example, the growing demand for rubber in the mid-19th century, the Mundruku people of the Brazilian Amazon.
So you just remember the name of that community, Mundiruka.
Of the Brazilian Amazon who lived in villages on high ground, cultivated manure began to collect latex from wild rubber trees for supplying to traders. Gradually, they descended to live in trading posts and became completely dependent on traders. In India, the trade in forest products was not new. From the medieval period onwards, we have records of Adivasi communities trading elephants and other goods like hides, horns, silk, cocoons, ivory, bamboo, spices, fibers, grasses, gums, and resins through nomadic communities like Banjaras. With the coming of the British, however, trade was completely regulated by the government. The British government made many large European trading firms that the sole right to trade in the forest products of particular areas. Grazing and hunting by local people were restricted. In the process, many pastoralist and nomadic communities like the Korawa, Karacha, and Yerukula of the Madras Presidency lost their livelihood.
Community names.
Yeah. Some of them began to be called criminal tribes and were forced to work
Who were called as criminal tribes?
the tribes that practiced forestry, right? No. The tribes that practiced forest trade when the Britishers deemed it illegal were the ones who were known as criminal tribes.
See, actually, they lost their job.
Yeah.
So they enter into that kind of
Restricted
stealing and all, no? So that is why they were branded as criminal tribes.
So
It is not that they are only criminals.
Yeah, they will.
So they don't have any work to do.
They have no other option.
So that is why they engaged in it.
And were forced to work instead in factories, mines, and plantations under government supervision. New opportunities of work did not always mean improved well-being for the people. In Assam, both men and women from forest communities like Santhals and Oraons from Jharkhand and Gons from Chhattisgarh were recruited to work on tree plantations. Their wages were low and conditions of work were very bad. They could not return easily to their home villages from where they had been recruited.
So this part you have to remember. What is that? See, certain community. What are the names of these communities? Sandhas and Orions from Jharkhand, Gons from Chhattisgarh. So they were taken to work in that plantations in Assam. Once they were taken to the plantations, they cannot come back.
Yeah, because
They were trapped in that plantation.
they were called live jails or something, where people could not step out of the boundaries of the work and the living areas provided by the British government.
See, that is what Indian nationalism, that part is there.
Yeah.
When Gandhiji made a call for non-cooperation movement, these people also
Joined.
they wanted to join. They thought that they will get lands in their own native villages. They tried to come out, but they could not reach. They were captured and beaten up badly. And so these people who lost their jobs, they were forced to work in plantations, and from there they could not come back to their villages also. Freedom was lost. Okay. Now the rebellion in the forest. It is two case studies are there in this lesson. One is the case study related to India that was introduced by British, and another is in Java, which was introduced by Dutch. So these two case studies we have to study. In India, that a forest was started.
Rebellion in the forest. In many parts of India and across the world, forest communities rebelled against the changes that were being imposed on them. The leaders of these movements against the British, like Sidhu and Kanuin, the Santhal Parganas, Birsa Munda of Chota Nagpur, or Aluri Sitarama Raju of Andhra Pradesh are still remembered today in songs and stories.
This you have heard about folk tales and all. That is locally they are heroes and they become the part of the history. See, Aluri Sitaram Raju is there in the annals of history of Andhra Pradesh. So like that, this Birsa Munda of Chota Nagpur is also famous. So like that, they
We
become.
had a whole page dedicated to him last year.
Who?
Birsa. Yeah.
He had some 300 men, he rebelled, and then he was beaten up, then he escaped, and a lot of things.
That is Munda rebellion. So each community they started rebellion
We had
against.
discussions about Munda rebellion and history last year.
I don't remember.
One bench is saying I don't remember.
We had like a
If I
chapter.
am correct, then it is on page number 57, which is on the right side of the book. Chapter number 4, third page.
I don't even
That is how well I had by-hearted everything in this textbook. I remember the page number.
In which book?
Last year, then we had private conversation.
So did we. This is very nice.
It was
Even
also
I-
very nice.
Great.
Read stuff. I miss read stuff.
NCRT is
We will now discuss in detail one such rebellion which took place in the kingdom of Bastar in 1910.
See, if this
Can I read the list?
No. You can see that this you can understand from that Bastar rebellion which you are thinking. Bastar rebellion. It's very famous. What is that? How it started and all. Then after
After taking a chapter, secondly.
ouch. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
The camera is still moving, ma'am. It's so frustrating.
Bastard Rebellion of 1910. 12th page.
12th page.
The yelling man is definitely not my favorite, please. The one on top.
That is shouting.
Oh.
Yeah, the yelling man.
I like that when they yell that you understand it.
This one is
He doesn't yell. He's the best.
This one?
What?
Sorry. You want that yelling man?
Yes,
Yes.
yelling man.
The yelling man is so
The
annoying.
first one. He is so good.
Voice can be also.
You can go out there.
Basically, the people of Basta, right?
Location. First paragraph is about the location.
How would I didn't
Can you hear? So Southern part statics. I'm doing the one.
there is no people.
You know, you think about the budget is zero.
And when we
Yeah.
Actually, their boundaries, within that boundaries, they are having their life. They never encroach others' area. So fences were made. If anybody encroaches, there were punishments. See, their sari, done or man in exchange. So these are the three types of punishments.
Not
The
punishment.
people of us in the
That
world
to pay a like
that
fees if
is
they
what-
wanted to take something.
would
That is why they are going inside. Others' property, if they enter, they have to pay.
You understood? Like buying that, no?
Not buying, encroaching the others' area. See, everyone have their own boundary. Nobody is allowed to encroach because they are confined in that area which is given. That is a group's area.
Here it is in the if they want to take wood from the other village, then they have to pay.
Not only wood, anything. If they enter, say it is given. If people from a village want to take some wood from forest of other village or anything,
तो
means
एक फैन ऑन कर सॉरी मैं आपको इंटरप्ट एक फैन
कर दो चलेगा फैन से ज्यादा कर दो
कभी बोलती है एसी से ज्यादा
आज जो लग रहा है
Okay.
आज बोलो।
so they wanted to pay for it. It is like a punishment only because they have to use the things within their territory.
Yeah.
That is why I use the word
encroaching the boundary.
so that is this punishment like
Rebellion. Okay, I'll blame the rebellion.
that is what the interesting part. How they came out and rebel. नहीं
ऊपर वाला
ऊपर
I
वाले
think that's
नहीं,
too
नहीं,
long. We don't have
So
the time.
put it onto it. हाँ suppression ऊपर 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 मैडम
Suppression नहीं करनी.
that is
I think this video is too long. I'll put it to 2x. Yeah.
हाँ
ये separation का video रिबेलियन का
एक काम है जो इससे पहले वाली वीडियो देखी थी ना उस पे क्लिक कर उसके डिस्क्रिप्शन में नेक्स्ट वीडियो का लिंक होता है पीपल अब बस कर क्लिक कर उस वीडियो
और प्लीज फाइव डालो मुझे समझ जाए. नहीं.
Yeah.
in the next
Not the video.
अरे बहुत ठंडी लगती है यहाँ पे बैठने में
तूने उसको स्विंग मोड पर अपने भी नीचे का
स्विंग
ऊपर
मोड
कर
नहीं
लेना
करा तू आगे बैठ
No, this is the previous one. Before what?
तो अभी बस कर हवा आती है ना तो ठंडी हो गई
No. That is question.
तेज आ गया जब फिर ऑन कर
ये 5 मिनट छोड़
No, that is Bhumikal Viroz. It's 1910.
1910 only that one.
1910 नहीं 16 कुछ हो
No, 1910 only that one.
नहीं नो मत कर break it you'll break it
नहीं तो yes.
The Forgotten Massacre of Bastar. It's for 3.
इसको 1x पे कर
Oh my
एक कौन मुझे हिंदी समझ में आ रहा है.
मुझे भी
God. मुझे नहीं आता.
प्रॉपर शुद्ध हिंदी है
No, this is for Bastar. तो फिर हम कुछ नहीं देख पाएंगे. The time is out.
समझ नहीं आ रहा है.
मैम we breathe now
okay okay
So I can go back to.
yes yes
The people
People know fears of the people because that part is over now.
the fears of the people. When the colonial government proposed to reserve 2/3 of the forest in 1905 and stop shifting cultivation, hunting, and collection of forest produce, the people of Bastar were very worried.
why the rebellion started in Bastar one when colonial government proposed to reserve 2/3 of the forest in 1905 that was the first step. Second, stop shifting cultivation, hunting, and collection of forest produce. So these were the reasons for the Bastar rebellion. Okay, got it?
That was all. That was the reason. I thought कुछ बड़ा हुआ होगा.
No, main reason was that. Then
Some villages were allowed to stay on in the reserve forest on the condition that they were free for the forest department in cutting and transporting trees and protecting the forest from fires.
some people were allowed to stay in the reserved forest. Two conditions. One is that in cutting and transporting the wood, And second is to protect the forest from fires. In that condition, they were allowed to live.
Subsequently, these came to be known as forest villages.
So, what were forest villages?
Where people were allowed to stay in reserve for certain purposes that benefited the British government.
Okay.
People of other villages were displaced without any notice or compensation. For long, villagers had been suffering from increased land rents and frequent demand for free labor and goods by colonial officials.
This is also another reason. Okay. What were that? One is that increased land rent and frequent demands for free labor and goods by the colonial officials.
Then came the terrible famine.
Have you marked?
I have written notes of all that.
Then came the terrible famines in 1899 till 1900 and again in 1907 to 1908 reservations proved to be the last straw.
So famines, when it has taken place, the British thought that we should do that reservation.
These famines were British generated, right?
Yeah,
because they could not provide proper administration.
No, they generated these famines.
Yeah, just so they can give produce to the England mainland. The
So
Bengal famine,
indirectly, they were responsible for that. But
Directly responsible.
they were the
how
cause
they
of
were
it.
directly?
See, the food which was produced,
Okay, let's
Then I'll add to the point answer.
the food which was produced for people to eat in India and Bengal particularly. Let's take the example of the Bengal famine, which is now proved to be a man-made famine by the Britishers. It is now legally stated as a famine that the Britishers started. So it was because the food that was produced in India for Indians started to be exported to England
British
or
families.
other trade territories of England just so they can earn money. Or this particular food grains were sent to British soldiers during wars. So Indians basically had nothing to eat, and the land was slowly getting destroyed because of all the cash crops they were growing, especially opium. That is why I knew the opium thing. The land was slowly being destroyed, so there was no good crops that were being grown. So that led to the Bengal famine.
So here in that area also 2 consecutive years famines occurred. Because that by giving that reason, British wanted to reserve 1/3 of the forest.
People began to gather and discuss these issues.
Oh, yeah.
Say, I think,
Again.
years of the British.
Yeah. Clock tower. Clock tower. Just the red end street. Red.